microphone technique. I was going to start with an animal call, but unfortunately Sarah preempted that by doing the dolphin. So you missed out on my extraordinary kookaburra impersonation. Oh, really? And yes, I am from Australia. I actually got the whim, I guess, if you could call it, to do comedy when I was in Melbourne once. I went to the Melbourne Comedy Festival, and I stayed at this fantastic hotel, and we went to some wonderful shows. And the day we checked out, I think we saw the most exciting thing I've seen in Melbourne ever. We're on the 30th floor of this place, and we're going down to the lift, and ding, doors open. There's a guy with a bag, and there's a woman wearing a towel around her waist. Just a towel around her waist. Now, they'd obviously been together all night, and as they were saying goodbye to each other, I mean, she only had eyes for this guy, and he only had eyes for the 8 people in the lift that were watching him. So she sort of leans across to kiss him, and he's sort of, thanks very much, see you later. And he jumps into the lift with us, and we're all standing there trying to be really cool, and he was trying to be also very cool. And he said, and he was Irish. And I'm sorry, I can't do the accent. He says, look, I'm with the comedy festival, and we just went, mate, this is Melbourne. That happens all the time. Just get with it. But in New Zealand, we don't have things like that happen. I live in Newtown. Which is a lovely, lovely, lovely suburb. But we have this person who parks in our street in front of my house, as it turns out. And he does this 3 or 4 times a week, and he's been doing it for months. And what he does is he parks in front of our house and reads porn. I swear to God, this is absolutely true. The guy was there this morning. It was pouring outside, and there was this guy in his car reading porn. Sorry, mate. No, actually, he's much older. But you've got something to look forward to in the future. Anyway, I went to work when I had a job, and I explained it. I went to the folks at work and said, look, there's this guy that parks in front of my house, and he reads porn. What do I do? And they said, I think you should ring the police, because there are, there's children around where you live, and you should probably do something about it. So I thought to myself, okay, that seems reasonable. So I've got a pretty good memory, so I gave them a really good description of the guy, and his registration number, and our address, and all that sort of stuff. And then the cop said, can you describe him? Now, I don't know about you, but he is the only person I've ever seen in my entire life who only drives into a street to read porn. What extra do they need? I mean, it's just bizarre. Okay, I've got a list. I'm from small town South Australia, a very, very small town. And I should sort of point out that South Australia is known for 3 things. Very, very good wine, very, very bad football players, and serial killers. All I can say about that is I've been here about 15 years, and for some reason there haven't been that many serial killings over there for a very long time. And let's keep it that way. Okay, let's talk about hunting. I also enjoy hunting. I like going hunting, but I'm not very good at it. And what I've been doing of late is I've been meeting some folks on the Fish and Hunt website, which is, well, if you think about it, it's like a dating website with guns. So I hooked up. I met this guy. Okay, look, I've been fucking this guy. Anyway, the first time we went out, we went over the wire wrapper, and the very first time we went out was a couple of days after I'd seen a Norwegian Nazi zombie movie called Dead Snow, and if you didn't see it, it sucks to be you, because it was a brilliant movie. It really was. Anyway, if you don't know what it's about these Nazis during World War II, obviously, who had destroyed this entire little town in Norway. And the Norwegians have got this real chip on their shoulder about the Germans and the Nazis and everything. So they made this very, very anti-Nazi war movie. And I was explaining it to this guy on the way over to the Wire Rapper. I should have mentioned he was German. Very, very, very uncomfortable trip. Fortunately, only one of us took guns, so everything was okay. We have been out a couple of times since then, and the kids have made up and everything. I know. But the other thing I do is I do a little bit of science these days. I used to work in IT, but I've quit my job and I now work in science. And I'm doing a master's, which is fantastic fun. And the thing I really like about it, and I'm going to have to take my list out again, is some of the scientific papers you read. And I'm going to tell you a little bit about two scientific papers. And the first one is the first case of homosexual necrophilia in the mallard Anis platyrinicus. So what happened was in Holland, and again, this is a true story. I only tell true stories. You can Google this. If you don't trust me, look it up. There was a duck. In fact, there was a number of ducks flying in a city in Holland. I can't remember which one it was. But one of them hit the window in the museum and broke its neck and fell to the ground. And I'm going to have to put the microphone down for this. I need my hands. Okay, so you've got to picture this. There's this duck and it flies along and it hits the ground and it's dead. Now this is really sad. One of its duck mates is watching it. Again, this is completely true. This duck flies in, I can just imagine the little wheels going around in the tiny little heads. Mate, are you alright? Just this once. I can get away with this just this once. It'll be alright. What makes this really sad is there was a scientist watching this. And instead of going to the dead duck's, not that big a point of going to the dead duck's defence, but instead of going to the dead duck's defence, he recorded it. Now, I don't know about you, but my understanding of science is that experiments have to be repeatable. Anyway, the second paper, which nicely enough flows from it, When Zombies Attack, Mathematical Modelling of an Outbreak of a Zombie Infestation. Now, this is a statistical paper that was released by some Canadian statistics students. I'm going to cut to the chase with this. What they discovered was that mathematically, if you're attacked by zombies, the only way to fight back is a massive counterattack in the first few seconds. Otherwise, you're doomed, really. I don't know. I can't understand how you do that. So what I'm doing, I want to work on a paper as well. And I want to call it Zombie Duck Revenge. Cross-species applications of the F statistic. Thank you.
Brenton, hi, ladies and gentlemen, it's the very first time. Wow, long coming. That was, that's disgusting. I used to be anti-hunting, but now I'm shoot the bastards. If that's what they're up to. Alright, someone used to find like a fox that breaks into kids' houses and steals toys, then I'll be pro-hunting as well. Whatever. Right, ladies and gentlemen, just so you guys know, this is Fringe Bar is like going to be the home for comedy now, and in Wellington. And if you're interested in seeing more shows, there's also the Improv Wit with Wit, which happens on a Wednesday night, and there's also the Pro Comedy Night, which happens on a Friday. And tonight, this week, they've got a guy who's just coming down all the way down from Canada to do a show. So if you enjoyed tonight's show, you should hang around, get your name on the email notice board, and you can find out about all the other wonderful gigs and all the wonderful things that are happening. But we're down.